BankservAfrica says South Africa's economy continues to reflect the inability to gain meaningful momentum, an ongoing concern since mid-2024. Independent economist Elise Kruger says despite this, data from March 2025 showed a slight recovery from the previous month, with the value of all electronic transactions cleared through BankservAfrica on a monthly basis increasing by 0.3%.
The BankservAfrica Economic Transactions Index increased marginally in the month of March, reflecting amongst others a favourable retail environment, with headline inflation still low at 3.2%, real wage increases on the table, as well as prime rate 75 basis points lower compared to a year ago. Unfortunately, over time, we've seen the BETI stuck at the current and what is the current level, moving sideways, reflecting this economy's inability to gain momentum.
Kruger has cautioned that the global trade uncertainties and trade war initiated by the United States is not helping with the country's economy growing below its potential.
And this is a problem to South Africa, as we know where we are currently, we are growing below our potential, we are growing less than population growth, and we've got a very limited margin for unexpected shocks, as is playing out currently in the global environment. So this evolving trade war playing out globally, especially since the past week, will indeed be negative for South African economic growth. I have slashed my forecast for 2025's real GDP growth by 0.5 percentage points to only 1%, just marginally above last year's growth forecast. So that reduced activity will most likely come through in the form of lower export demand, especially if we see the global economy moving towards recession.
The rand has come under significant pressure due to the widespread risk-off sentiment. According to Kruger, South Africa is currently facing pressure on both global and local fronts.
Whereas we see the rand exchange rate is at quite weak levels, the rand price of oil at current levels indeed is lower compared to a few days ago. So we could see that the net impact on fuel prices, for instance, could be further drops, despite the fact that the rand exchange rate is currently at elevated levels.
BankServ says with a substantial portion of export commodities exempted from the announced U.S. import tariffs, which it says, in combination with a weaker exchange rate, could provide a buffer for the mining industry and subsequently provide some support for the local economy. Katlego, Legodi, SABC News in Johannesburg.